On today's episode of Nac Edition, find out how one big event brought the Nacogdoches community together. And speaking of community, Earth Day was thriving with their plant sale. Also, get an inside look on the Volkswagen Festival. Plus, learn about some of our historical figures around downtown. And last but not least, take a bite of this delicious crawfish and join us for another episode of Nac Edition. Hello East Texas, welcome to Nac Edition. I'm Colton Webb.
And I'm Iris Rios.
Let's get started off with the big event. The Nacogdoches community has never been one to withhold support from their SFA lumberjacks. Year after year, many residents donate their time and sometimes their money to see the university succeed. But it's that very reason that is the motivation for many SFA students to give as they have been given. And it's that desire that has culminated into what is known as the big event. The big event is a community service day that serves as a thank you for the community support of SFA students. Projects can range anywhere from lawn care to just sitting down and spending time with people.
It doesn't even have to be a service project that we go out and do. If a lady wants some company, like if they just want us to come and hang out and do puzzles, we can do that.
The big event is a community service project. It's the students that benefit as well.
Some benefits that they get is they get to build a relationship with a person that they've never even met before. They get to put a face to the name Nacogdoches. They don't, I guess it gives them more of a realization that they don't just live in any old town. They live in a town with people who've lived here their whole life and who've maybe went to SFA.
The next big event will be held Saturday, April 9th for those wishing to volunteer. You can show up at the commuter lot that day at 9 a.m.
Well, that's an event to look forward to. After a few days of cloudy skies and rain, sunny weekend was the perfect time for a plant sale. I went out to find out more on this event, which also had a bit of Earth Day appreciation. With rain clouds out of the way, it was definitely an eventful Saturday at the SFA Gardens. A plant sale event hosted by the Temple College of Forestry began at 9 a.m. and it had quite the amount of people searching and learning. Accompanied by live music, gardeners had more than 10,000 plants to go around and choose from. This plant sale is an annual event that many people take part in, and with only a month in advance of planning, it works out like it did. All proceeds go towards SFA Gardens account to pay for staff. But there was a point where this plant sale wasn't such a big hit.
Well, we started this plant sale in spring of 1986. And back then, SFA Arboretum on the south side of the Agriculture Building, we were very small. We had no staff, no trucks, no tractors, no budget, but students and I in the Horticulture Club started a sale. And the very first year, no one came. It was the saddest event in the history of the world. My mother came at 11, but she didn't buy anything. My students were sad, but we kept at it, and every year we kept doing it because we're stubborn, we're gardeners. And over the years, it's developed. Really, since 2000, it's really kind of exploded.
And though the plant sale was jam-packed, some people were also there to gain knowledge about this planet we call home. With stands showing wildlife differences and a few crafts, Earth Day celebration was an event not to be missed.
For more information on events like today, or for any upcoming events, make sure to check out sfagardens.sfasu.edu. Reporting for Nac Edition, I'm Iris Rios.
That was a lovely package.
Thank you.
Well, we sent out our own Devin Hogue to go find out what's happening at the farmers market and the Volkswagen Festival here in Nacogdoches.
I don't play slug bug anymore because I bruise easily, and I'm usually the one that's driving.
No, I quit doing that because it hurts too much at this age.
I'm here at the 2016 Nacogdoches Volkswagen Festival. Many vendors out here come to sell items and show off their unique models. There were over 100 cars that were presented in the festival. People came from all over Texas to present their cars, sell shirts, buy parts, and sell other items like toy collectibles and car accessories.
Die-cast cars and odds and ends that guys are looking for their rad rods, but you know, anything that I think will catch their interest.
The Volkswagen vehicles came in all shapes and sizes and different models. Brian Porter, a mechanic from Hurst, Texas, built his wife's car from scratch.
Well, this is a hand-built, so it's titled as a 2007, but the motor is out of a 1971. So, but it's a handmade chassis, so it has the year that it was finished.
This festival was not only an opportunity for Volkswagen owners to show and tell their unique vehicles, but it was also a fundraiser that the VW Club was holding.
Sammy Smith and James Perryman. It is a festival to celebrate the life of those who have died from cancer, and all our proceeds go to the American Cancer Society. So it's a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society.
This has been Devin Hogue reporting for Nac Edition.
When we come back, we'll take a look at some springtime festivities to do here in Nacogdoches. Nac Edition, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Nac Edition. When it comes to our local history, Friends of Historic Nacogdoches have you covered. Kendra Kalisic went to find out more.
Established in 1779, Nacogdoches is most famously known for being the oldest town in Texas. This charming little town is full of history, which is why Friends of Historic Nacogdoches made it a mission to preserve past historical figures with the Heritage Statue Walk. Not only do these life-size bronze statues promote tourism, they give local citizens the chance to learn about the individuals who founded and impacted a lot of what we see today in Nacogdoches.
At first glance, it might look like this statue is taking a selfie, but actually it's Dietrich Rolfs, a German-born architect who came to Nacogdoches and built many homes and buildings that you see today.
Also among the statue trail are people like Thomas J. Rusk, who represented Texas in the U.S. Senate, Antonio Gil y Barbo, a Spanish militia commander, and Carl Wilson Baker, an admired teacher and author who wrote several books and famous poems. With generous support from the community, Friends of Historic Nacogdoches continue to expand historical public art. Anticipated this summer in 2016, the late George Crockett, a minister then dean at SFA, will be honored with his statue built on the property of Christ Episcopal Church on Mound Street. For more information, you can check out fohninc.weebly.com or stop by the Visitor Center downtown. With Jack TV2, I'm Kendra Kalisic.
January to July is a time when people can finally calm their cravings of crawfish, and Crawdaddy's Boil and Go knows how to bring their customers back every year. Esmeralda Davila went out to find out more about this delicious food.
There's only one time of year that you can buy this food favorite, and that is from late January to early July. Crawfish is going and selling in full blast right now, and people are constantly trying to get their hands on them. All the other times of the year, crawfish is usually frozen first. In places like Dallas or Houston, you never really get fresh crawfish. Here in Nacogdoches, in places like Crawdaddy's Boil and Go, it is fresh, straight from Louisiana.
We go to Eunice every year, every Wednesday, and pick it up.
Crawdaddy's Boil and Go is a family-owned business, and they've been going strong for about 6 years here in Nacogdoches and in Lufkin. Open Thursday to Saturday, they pride themselves in having the best crawfish out there, and they always have people lined up waiting for their turn. And every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for them is the same process.
What we do when we get back is we ice it. It helps them go into a hibernation stage, and we'll keep them on ice, and then when we get here, we'll pull out a bag and we'll drop it into the pot with seasoning. Then we'll season them. And
they also have a special ingredient, but I just could not get my hands on it.
Oh yeah, I can't. Well, I guess I could, but my dad wouldn't be too happy.
Aside from crawfish, they also have other items on the menu, like shrimp and crab. And they also try to keep the people entertained by having karaoke night and live performances.
So y'all make sure and come get your crawfish before it runs out. I'm Esmeralda Davila, reporting.
Alrighty, well, I don't know about you, but I kind of want to go get some crawfish now.
Absolutely. And when we come back, we'll check in with Kimmy Hens to find out more on what's going on outside. Stay tuned, East Texas.
Welcome back, East Texas. Let's take a look at the weather. My name is Kimmy Hens, and right now we're looking at the lows and the highs, really, of the nation. So right now is the highs, and you can see in the lower part of the U.S. it's getting very hot. We're in the 80s and 82, around the upper 80s, and then the mid 70s. And then kind of in Florida, you can see that they are experiencing temperatures in kind of the lower 70s. And then as we go over to California, they are reaching temperatures in the mid 80s, upper 80s. And as you can see in the central part of the United States, they are experiencing a little bit cooler temperatures. And you can see in the upper part of the United States, they are experiencing lower parts of temperatures, experiencing a little bit cooler weather. So let's take a look at our lows in the United States. So you can tell that in the southern part of the United States, it is getting a little bit chillier, but it's not too bad. So we're kind of in the upper 50s and the lower 60s. And as we go a little bit north, they are experiencing lower temperatures in the 30s, as well as kind of in the central part of the United States are experiencing about the mid 40s. So let's take a look at the precipitation in the United States as well. So you can see that they are experiencing a lot of precipitation kind of over by the Chicago area. And then there's actually a lot of burn bans kind of in the southern states in Texas and Oklahoma as well. So they're not getting as much rainfall as they are in the Chicago areas and the surrounding states. So let's take a look at the Texas weather. So in Texas, it's kind of the same thing as the surrounding southern states. We're getting a lot of lower 60s, and so really in the western part of Texas, it's mid 60s, 64, 65. And as we go over to the east side, we're experiencing upper 70s, and it is getting a little bit warmer down in the Corpus Christi area. They're getting a lot of hotter weather, kind of in the 80s, upper 70s. So let's take a look at Nacogdoches. So in Nacogdoches, we are experiencing mid 60s, about kind of 64, 65-ish, and as well as Jacksonville, they are experiencing pretty much the same temperatures as we are. Pretty much throughout East Texas, it's about the mid 60s, and we are expecting a little bit cooler temperatures as a sort of weak cold front is coming through. And then we are experiencing upper 70s as well. So right now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. So on Wednesday and Thursday, we can experience temperatures in the upper 80s, and we have lows of about 45 to 50. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's going to be partly cloudy and a high of about 78 and 79 with lows of 50s. So pretty hot weather, but it's not going to get too low. So let's take a look at the calendar of events. So on Friday, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting the annual Blueberry Golf Bash all day. So get your clubs and head over to the Piney Woods Country Club. Also on Friday, the SFA College of Fine Arts and School of Music and the School of Theater presents the Barter Bride at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 for adults and $7.50 for students, and it will be held at the Turner Auditorium on the SFA campus. And on Saturday is two major events, the big event as well as the Red Dirt Mud Run. The big event is a day of volunteering around Nacogdoches, and the Red Dirt Mud Run is a 5K obstacle challenge at the Nacogdoches Expo Center. And on Sunday, the Lamplight Players present Steel Magnolias at 2:00 p.m. Tickets are $15 for adults and $8 for students, and the address is 4210 Lamplight Lane. And so after the break, we will go to Delilah Gonzalez for the latest sports updates.
Hello, East Texas. I'm Delilah Gonzalez here with your sports update. Let's get started. So many of us don't give the bowling team enough justice, but they should be a team we surely are cheering on. This year, the Stephen F. Austin Lady Jacks bowling team were announced as one of the 8 teams that have qualified for 2016 championships, which is being held April 14th through the 16th in New Jersey. This year will be the Lady Jacks' second time going and have mentioned that their goal is to learn from last year and to try to go even further. These sassy ladies were announced as number 5 seed, which has been 2 spots better from last season, where they were at 7 seeds. They have a solid season as they posted at 81-41 record and are ranked 5th in the latest NTCA coaches poll. This season, the Lady Jacks have played in 11 events where they have finished top 10 in each one and top 5 in 8 occasions. The Lady Jacks and 7 other schools will be competing for the bragging rights and champions and a number 1 seed. Arkansas State, Vanderbilt, and Sam Houston State are some of the schools that will be returning as well. The 2016 NCAA championships will be hosted by Farlight Dickinson. Pool play will get underway Thursday, April 14 and conclude Friday, April 15, which will lead into a double elimination bracket play on Friday afternoon. This year, the championship match will be aired on ESPNU at 5:30 on Saturday, April 16. So keep an eye out for that and watch to support your fellow Lady Jacks. Next, here's a fun one for you guys. Many at SFA are unaware that we have our very own wakeboarding team, so I decided to go check them out myself. Let's take a look.
Wakeboarding, the sport of riding on a short, wide board resembling a surfboard and performing acrobatic maneuvers while being towed behind a motorboat. The SFA wakeboarding team started in 1989, also known as Water Sports Club or SFA Wake, and they used to be a ski team. It now has 13 members and competes in 3 to 4 tournaments hosted at different schools at cable parks. This past weekend, a competition in New Braunfels, Texas was in place at a ski ranch hosted by Texas State. There are 60 people in each division competing against 4 divisions. Guys and girls are allowed to compete against each other. And Weston Ducks, one of the SFA Wake members, won first place in the beginner division. Wakeboarding is not only just a fun sport, but it comes with many benefits. First off, it's a great outdoor workout on the water. It lets you be more social and improves mental concentration and refreshes the mind.
When you're at a really low skill level, you will eventually make your way back up, and they will teach you how to get better and support you no matter what. And
dues are $150 per semester, and practices are twice a week at Lake Nacogdoches. This has been Delilah reporting.
And on Friday evening, the SFA baseball boys didn't let the weather stop them from beating Texas A&M Corpus Christi with a win of 3-2. They began a 2-out rally with a triple off the bat by Nick Ramos, followed by a grounder no more than 2 feet up the first base line by hitter Connor Fikes. Kyle Thorner was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded before the Islander Garrett Harris let Fikes sprint home from third for the winning run at the Jaycees Field. Unfortunately, though, the Islanders decided to fight harder on Saturday with a win against SFA at 11-9. Jared Green was on a mission to gain his 5th win of the season. He sent 7 of the Islanders' batters back to the dugout, but things became a bit crazy in the top of the 3rd when a 1-out infield single started the visitors' 4-hit frame. When the Jacks were down by 9 runs, the A&M Corpus Christi Islander, Chris Cooper, took over for Scapura in the 7th, giving the Jacks time to finally catch their breath. SFA's final run of the game came across the score as a result of a throwing error by A&M Corpus Christi's catcher. The Jacks decided to send in pitcher Tyler Pinkston to the plate, but sadly, this was just not enough. On Sunday, the boys made a comeback when Corpus and SFA were head-to-head in the bottom half of the 9th. The Jacks found themselves hanging onto a 6-5 edge in the top portion of the frame. SFA gained their win since Friday night in a 2-run 7th. Zach Mishner tied things up at a 5-piece by taking a bases-loaded walk of his own before the Vaughn hammered a fly ball to the deep left field. Only 3 of the baseball boys' runs were earned as 2 errors as a pass ball came back to shoo the Islanders away. They also played against TSU yesterday and had a win of 17-3, launching Coach Cardenas' 200th career win. The Lady Jacks also played against Corpus this past weekend. Brittany Lewis, an SFA junior, led these ladies to a 4-2 victory in the first game of the home series. SFA jumps 15-17 overall this season and 5-4 in South End Conference play with the win. Lewis going 3 for 3 with 1 run, 4 RBI, 1 homer, and 1 double on the day. She drove in all 4 of the Lady Jacks runs. Brittany Lewis had an overall of 10 hits and 6.2 innings of work without offering a free base on balls. Talk about true girl power. And on Saturday, the ladies had a double-header game. Unfortunately, the first game was a loss, Corpus 6 and SFA 3. Alyssa Hamilton, an SFA senior outfielder, had a good outing for the first game. She went 3 for 4 with 2 runs in the contest. The Lady Jacks scored a single run in each of the first 3 innings, but eventually the girls were not able to keep up. The second game was proof that the girls were not going to let anyone steal their thunder, as they let the Islanders know that they weren't going to give up that easy. Lindsey Campbell initiated the scoring for SFA in the 5th inning. She scorched a triple deep into the right field gap and trotted home with no hesitation on AMCC throwing error with 1 out. Overall, the ladies won with a score of 6-0. Congrats, ladies. The next softball game will be held tonight, April 6th at 6:30. Make sure to come out. And once again, Thomas Walkup is making our SFA family proud. He was able to catch a spot to play for the Recess College All-Star Game, which was held on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. in Houston at the Energy Stadium. He was one of 20 NCAA Division I men's basketball seniors from around the nation to be selected. The game was televised on CBS Sports Network. The teams are voted on by the head coach, sports information directors, and the academic advisors from each South End Conference. Student athletes are required to have at least a 3.0 GPA, a completed full academic year at the institution, and a participation in at least 50% of the team's competition to qualify for all the academic crew. And although Walkup's orange and white uniform didn't appeal to us lumberjacks, we know that his heart will forever bleed purple. Walkup was also named the recipient of 2016 Lou Henson of the Year Award. And now that we're on the topic about basketball, the old scoreboard at the William R. Johnson Coliseum has finally waved its goodbyes and has been put to rest, making new ways for our new HD video board. Demolition started this past week. This new video board will be a 4-sided all-HD board, 22 feet wide with a digital ring underneath it. There will also be new digital tables on the opposing team and floor seating that will include 22 luxury seats, which by the way have already been sold out. This project will be completed on time for the May commencement and will conclude phase 2 of the 3-phase process. Phase 1 of this process included the baseball and softball scoreboards, which have already been completed. They had white LED lights installed in them. The Homer Bryce Stadium scoreboard was also a part of phase 1 and has also been completed. Second phase is basketball board, which of course is currently going on right now. And the third phase will be the completion of new soccer boards. Phase 3 should be completed at the end of April, right after the basketball video board is completed. And did I mention that none of this is being paid by the students? SFA Athletics is sponsoring all of this. And one last thing, we now have a larger board than Sam. Sorry about your luck, Bearcats. You can come out and see the Homer Bryce Stadium's new board in action this weekend during Track and Fields Meet on April 7th through 9th. Or you can also come out and see it on April 16th during the football team's first spring game, followed by a showing of Star Wars on our new big screen. And if you still can't wait this long, here, take a look at our new gadgets. And finally, the wait is over. Welcome to your new home, Kyle Keller, the new basketball head coach. He was announced on Monday evening by SFA Director of Athletics, Robert Hill. Keller was an assistant coach for Texas A&M's head coach and staff, Billy Kennedy. He has a total of 25 years of coaching experience and has a great reputation. Since 2013, Keller has resulted in 7 ESPN Top 100 Players inking with Texas A&M. His official introduction to the SFA campus and community will be held this Friday, April 8th at 1:15 p.m. inside of the Baker Patillo Student Center's Grand Ballroom. The doors to the Grand Ballroom will open up at 12:30 p.m. and all SFA fanatics are welcome. This event will be streamed nationwide on ESPN3 and on Watch ESPN app. You won't want to miss this. Well, that is all the sports updates I have for you today. Let's take it back to Colton and Iris.
Thank you, Delilah. Well, you typically hear of criminals running from the police, but what about a dog?
That's right. One little dog gave the California Highway Patrol a run for its money this weekend after he caused the bridge to be closed down due to pursuit. Take a look. On their social media, tweeting out high-speed pursuit this morning on the Bay Bridge. Suspect taken into custody, all safe, hashtag only an SF. There's no detail how Ponch, as the officers decided to name him, got on the bridge, but the little pooch was later taken into an animal shelter where he now waits to be reunited with his owner. That's really interesting, don't you think?
Yes.
A little dog on a bridge?
Yeah. Led to a lot of angry people that day.
Oh, probably.
Well, that's all we have for today. Join us back next time for another episode of Nac Edition.